what's up YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent Switch/gaming video where I take a look at some of the stories that came out this week that caught my attention and give you my thoughts and my opinion. So why don't we get started with our video, and we'll start off with the first one, and this one has to do with QuakeCon 2018 that came out. Now, Bethesda held their event, the QuakeCon, and showed off basically a couple of games that they were basically making and bringing out. And the two that caught my attention, of course, were Doom Eternal and Rage 2. Doom Eternal being a sequel to Doom 2016. This Doom and Wolfenstein being, as far as FPS shooters go, a series I have a lot of respect for and certainly would play those games over a Call of Duty game any day, and yes, I'm willing to stand behind saying that. And of course, Rage 2, an IP, a new IP from it that was released back in 2011 with some, basically a sequel to the first Rage game with some mixed results though. There were some things I liked though. I liked the solid single player, the gunplay was great and all. Visually it looked nice, it looked good though, but story was kind of lacking, and they said it had RPG elements, but it was like hardly there, to be exact. Well, earlier this week though, we got some more information about Doom Eternal and Rage 2 with one interesting announcement about regarding one of the games and one with a possibility though. We'll start off first with Doom Eternal. Let me get some links up right here, and basically what we now know basically is, and this is based off of the article, this one's from Trusted Review, and they're pointing out this Doom Eternal. What is it? Doom Eternal is the fifth main game in the legendary shooter series, but more notably it's a follow-up to the aforementioned modern revival. It takes that impressive well-honored approach of speed and sound fashion, swift action, and seemingly amplifies it to a whole new layer as Doomslayer hunts his amp prey throughout a fiercely doom-infested location on Earth. In other words, to me, it sounds like basically it's a remake of Doom 2. The Doomslayer was already suitably badass the last time around, but now he has some new tools and ability to help make it even quicker work of his prey. For example, he has a blade attached to his left arm that can be used to slash foes in half and rip their organs and stuff inside, and stuff them into different openings, no less. That they kind of did that in the Doom 2016. He also has a grappling hook that used enemies as an anchor, letting you swing from point to point by finding new foes to penetrate, along with some well-placed poles to swing off of. It adds more veracity to the experience. Eternal also brings back some classic elements from the Pixel Pack original, all reimagined for the modern era, and they're gradually destructible, each with visible deterioration as you blast, plummet, and detonate them. And there are fresh weapons as well, including some sort of phenomenon rune engraved laser sword that appears at the tail end of the QuakeCon demo. There's also a super shotgun meat hook mod, which they're saying they can't wait to see. The campaign action is mostly set across the fiercely hellscape, but the QuakeCon demo also showed us some fabulous looking new terrain, such as a structurally designed fantasy castle location. The new It Tech 7 engine allows for various and more details and geometry than before, which makes vast and more involved environments. As far as release date goes, there's planned for the 2019 release date. Interestingly enough, they also will have a multiplayer mode in the game, and according to them, they're saying Doom Eternal multiplayer, what are invaders? Again, this is from Trust Review. Links will be in the description. They're saying, quote, "Here's an interesting new twist for Doom Eternal. Online players will now have the ability to take a role of demons and invade other players' campaign. It's a strictly optional feature," which, thank God that is, though. I mean, it's a nice feature to have, but not everybody wants to have another person invade their campaign mode. I think as long as that's optional, I'm okay with that, though, to be exact. In case you prefer to play solo, but it should add a fun new wrinkle to the Doom experience. It will also finally prove an opportunity to experience the game from the other side of the shotgun in a campaign scenario. Doom will also offer a more traditional take on the competitive multiplayer, although it's not yet clear what it will look like. The last Doom multiplayer developer, with external partner Certain Affiliately, was widely seen as weak compared to the strong Solow campaign. However, id Software tells Polygon that Doom Eternal will feature something entirely new and that they are developing the multiplayer compound themselves. It's very Doom, says creator-director Hugo Martin. It's very good. So that part where they basically, where you can evade another player, like I said, that's an interesting idea, and I'm sure there are some people who will like that. But like I said earlier, though, I'm not sure everyone will be down with that. So I'm glad that's an optional feature. So if you want to turn that off, you can turn it off and just play it without having someone else interfere with your campaign map. So I think that's really good that they made that as an optional feature, though. Based on what the gameplay and what they showed, it looks impressive. I'm really looking forward to playing this game when it comes out, though. I never played Doom 2 before, though. Say what you will, I never really gamed on a computer before, though. I was mostly strictly consoles, but I did like Doom 2016, and I'm definitely looking forward to this one. And the surprise announcement about this one is the fact that it's also coming to the Nintendo Switch as well. This was announced at QuakeCon 2. So Doom Eternal is also going to be, so like I said, Doom Eternal is coming to the PS4, Xbox One, PC, and the Nintendo Switch. What we now know, based on information that has come out, and this is from comicbook.com, it says, during the incredible QuakeCon presentation this year with the team over at Bethesda, we've gotten to learn that so much more about the stunning next chapter in the Doom franchise. From the insanely enhanced combat mechanics to incredible boosts in hellish lore, there's so much to be excited for. Pair with it the availability on the Nintendo Switch for players on the go. One aspect of the hybrid counts. It talks about all that stuff. So basically, they're not. Basically, what they're saying is, though, that they're not sacrificing the quality of the game. However, it is worth pointing out, though, that like Doom 2016 and like Wolfenstein 2 were handled, though, those are being handled by Panic Button, from what I've read, and that it will be at 720p 30 frames per second, which I understand not everyone is going to be down with that, especially for the Switch version, though. But having played Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus on the Switch, and Doom 2016 on it, though, it's not as bad as a lot of people say it is. I'll admit, 1080p 60 frames per second would have been better, and I would have liked to see this run at 60 frames per second on the Switch, though. But I'm okay with it at 30 frames per second, provided that it's a stable 30 frames per second and it's not, a complete utter disaster like WWE 2K18. So it's great that they're bringing it to the Nintendo Switch. I'm looking forward to getting that game on the Nintendo Switch. Yes, but just like Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus, and Doom, it's a version that's probably not going to be for everybody, though. So if you're looking for that 1080p 60 frames per second, obviously you're going to go with either the PS4, Xbox One, or the PC/Steam. That said, if you're okay with the game setting at 720p 30 frames per second and portability is your thing, then you're probably going to go with the Switch version. Either way, Doom Eternal looks impressive, and I am looking forward to playing that game when that comes out. Another game that was announced also was Rage 2 as well. Now, as I said earlier, I remember playing the first one when that came out back in 2011, and it wasn't a bad game, though. It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't exactly terrible, though. That said, it got a mixed response, but supposedly the game did well enough, though, to warrant a sequel, although I do remember they canceled Rage 2 after Rage 1 came out due to poor sales and all. Obviously, they must have changed their mind on that. So we do have some more information about Rage 2. So let me click out of here. Alright, so from what we understand though, basically what we now know about this, and this is pretty obvious though, is that the game is being developed not only by id Software but also by Aulx Studio, which is basically, those are the guys who've done several open world games before, ranging from Just Cause 3 to Mad Max, which, as far as a licensed game go, that one was pretty good though. I did enjoy that one though. So, but we do now know that for this one though, according to what we're hearing, is that Rage 2 basically is going to be a single player only game. So according to Eurogamer, they're saying over at our US Gamer, over at our sister site Eurogamer, Aulx Studio revealed that Rage 2 will not only be a strictly single player game, but it will also hit 60 FPS on certain consoles as well as on PC. So obviously, PC is certainly a shoo-in. That will be 60 frames per second no matter what, so I'm not really surprised by that. As far as what they're aiming for with this one, according to, let me see if I can look it up. Let's see. According to the developers, the gradual creative process infused each element of Rage 2 with more flair, eventual close with a bolder and overtuned. Oh, yeah, here it is though. Okay, I must have read the wrong one. Here it is. Okay. While id Software has developed the original Rage in-house, Aulx is the lead studio for Rage 2. And its home team are in more support and oversight role, working to ensure that the gunplay has the same satisfaction, crunch, and over-the-top dynamic as in the studio's other first-person shooter. However, it runs on Aulx's own Apex engine, which enables a broader and more seamless open-world scope. A lot of open-world games have these sectors where I clear a sector and now I could go to this sector. In Rage 2, we have an introduction area, but once you're done with that and the door opened, you could go anywhere. You want to make a dash for the end? Go for it. We really try to break apart that cookie cutter section by section open world game. We have a few key characters you can interact with, but how and when you do that is totally up to you. Rage 2 won't offer a multiplayer gameplay, although some kind of social component will be detailed in the future. Furthermore, id Software plans to roll out both free and paid post-release content, although the developers believe that the core campaign is extensive enough to satisfy customers. It's a single-player game, but we try to build some community features in it, and we're going to try to pull the tail of the game out a bit and give players more experience after we ship, he said. We have some free updates and some paid updates, but the focus is on the single player. So for me, this also puts a smile into my face. I'm really big on those single player games, so I'm glad that Rage 2 is a single player focused game. I don't know what the community aspect is going to be about that. I don't know if that's a feature that can be turned on or off, so I'm hoping it's something you can turn on and off. And the fact they'll offer free updates and paid DLCs, I'm okay with that. If it's like how it's set up on the way The Witcher 3 was handled, I would certainly be okay with this approach, to be exact, okay? I'm aware that not everybody is a big fan of DLCs, though. I'm not against the idea of DLCs. It can work when it's done properly. And if they do it like, say, The Witcher 3 did it, or say like what Nintendo did with Hyrule Warriors when it was released on the Wii U, then I would be okay with the way they handle DLCs on this one. So it's definitely another game along with Doom Eternal that I'm looking forward to. Interestingly enough, the question was asked whether this will come to the Nintendo Switch, and according to the developers, right now id Software is looking into a Rage port. According to the developers, this is what they're saying, quote, "The game proved to be a huge draw for PS4, Xbox One, and PC owners. Well, what about those with a Nintendo Switch? According to this, Variety recently had a chance to speak with the studio director about the possibility of port of the game to Nintendo Switch. While they don't confirm that they are making its way there, they didn't throw the idea of it coming out for it away either. They're basically what they're saying is, quote, "We're looking at the tech right now and we're still evaluating that. We stream everything and we're just looking because everything is open, everything is available, so there's no level loads. We're looking at that now, but we don't know." So basically, it's not an outright, they're saying no to Rage 2 coming to the Switch, but they're not saying yes at the same time. I don't want to officially declare that they won't be able to bring it over until we get an official statement, to be exact, though. But I don't rule out the possibility that there is a chance the Switch may not be able to handle it, though. Now, that's not to say that and I'm not saying that the Switch couldn't handle it completely, though. I mean, we saw what Doom and Wolfenstein 2 was, so there is the possibility. Although, to be fair, Doom and Wolfenstein 2 weren't open world type of a game. So it's a possibility they could bring it over, even if they manage to scale it down to, say, 720p 30 frames per second. If they could do that and keep it at a stable 30 frames per second, I would be okay with that. The idea of bringing a Rage 2 with you on the go. But if for some reason they can't bring Rage 2 over, one possible scenario Bethesda and it could do is create maybe a game set in the Rage universe, but maybe like an exclusive for it, designed specifically with the Nintendo Switch in mind. Maybe make it like a side story, something that takes place after the first Rage game but before Rage 2, to be exact. Maybe borrow certain gameplay mechanics from Rage 2. So I mean, they could take that route if somehow Rage 2 cannot come to Nintendo Switch. But I'll wait and see if they can bring it over. My fingers are crossed on that one. I'm hoping they can bring Rage 2 to the Nintendo Switch. So overall, Doom Eternal and Rage 2 are definitely on my radar for 2019. I am looking forward to picking up those games, though. For Doom Eternal, I'm leaning towards getting the Switch version, to be exact. Yes, it's not going to be 1080p 60 frames per second. It's going to most likely be 720p 30 frames per second, but I have faith in Panic Button, though. They've done a really great job with the port of Doom, Wolfenstein, and Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, and Rocket League, so I do have faith with them, so I'm looking forward to that one. Rage 2, definitely another game I'm looking forward to trying out as well, and my fingers are crossed that a Switch version does happen. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2 of our video, and this one's going to be talking about the announcement of Diablo 3 coming to the Nintendo Switch. So we'll take a quick break and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our My 2 Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be talking about an announcement that was made this week regarding Diablo 3. Now, earlier this year, there was a bit of a tease that came out for the possibility that Diablo 3 was coming to the Nintendo Switch. Supposedly, I think the folks at Blizzard or the Diablo team put out like basically a little tweet that had a little nightlight, which when you turn on, it had the Diablo and the Diablo nightlight, and turn it off. This gave the impression that a Switch version of Diablo 3 was going to happen, since that game's been rumored for quite some time. Eventually, though, they kind of shot that down, at least for the moment, though. And then basically earlier this week, I think that tweet was last couple of months. If I said this week, I apologize, wrong word I said. A Forbes magazine put out an article that basically pointed out that Diablo 3 was coming to the Nintendo Switch before taking it down, which may have been someone must have jumped the gun, and obviously someone at Forbes is probably in a lot of trouble, which was later picked up by Kotaku and then later spread like wildfires. And then it was revealed on Thursday that Diablo 3 is official. It is coming to the Nintendo Switch. According to what we've heard so far, and this is according to several articles, again, links will be in the description. According to basically US Gamer, they are basically pointing out that, let's see if I can find it. It basically is pointing out that the game is being developed by, oh yeah, here it is. That the Diablo 3 Switch port was in development for just 9 months, and it's being developed in conjunction with Iron Galaxy, that did the port of last year's Skyrim. There's also been reports coming out that the game itself will run. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. I think it's the other one. Okay, this one I think is from Eurogamer. I think it's reported that Diablo 3 on Switch will run at 60 frames per second across the board, at a native 720p resolution in handheld mode, and at 960p in dock mode. It's also reported, though, that the game, Diablo 3 for the Nintendo Switch, supposedly will be the complete edition with all of its DLCs and content. On top of that, the Switch owners will get something exclusive. According to Eurogamer, says, as it become customary, Switch owners will get a little extra Nintendo fan service too. Legend of Zelda flavor in this case. There's a cosmetic transmog, if I'm saying the name correctly, armor set model on Zelda's villain Ganondorf, a cuckoo chicken pet, a Triforce portrait frame, and a set of wings for your character to wear. So in other words, if you want to, you could play as the villain Ganondorf from The Legend of Zelda in Diablo 3. And honestly, this is actually one of the games I'm also looking forward for it as well. The idea of bringing Diablo 3 on the go would be very, very fascinating though. I remember playing it on the PS3 and the PS4, and they were fun games to be exact. Even if the PS4 version looks better than the PS3 and so forth. So the idea that this is a game we could bring with you on the go is definitely a nice addition, and it's also clear that obviously Blizzard is testing the waters to see if Overwatch will make its way to Nintendo Switch. That game kind of has been rumored for quite some time. So far, the only statement I remember reading about it is that it's feasible, at least according to Blizzard. Honestly, in my opinion, I think they're going to try to bring it over to the Switch. I'm not surprised on that, because given how Paddling has done well on the Switch and Fortnite, both of those are free-to-play game, obviously Blizzard probably want a piece of that pie. So I do believe that there's a good chance Overwatch will be coming to the Nintendo Switch. Some rumors are pointing out that we could see it at a Nintendo Direct. That's been rumored for quite some time. But overall, I have to say, I'm very happy that Diablo 3 is coming to the Nintendo Switch. It's going to have they're basically saying it's going to have all the content, which is great. Hopefully they can fit all of it into the cartridge and not be one of those you have to download the rest. And of course, having it at 60 frames per second is nice, even if the resolution is at 720p or 960p. If they're able to maintain a solid 60 frames per second, regardless if it's docked or undocked, I'm okay with that. So overall, Diablo 3 is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Looking forward to trying it out when it comes out later this year, at least according to what they're saying, which could be, they're saying before or after December 21st. So we'll have, hopefully pre-orders will be ready for that game. But yes, I'm good that Diablo 3 is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Here's to hoping that Blizzard might bring maybe some of their other games over, maybe Overwatch for those who are into those multiplayer-only hero shooter, multiplayer-only hero shooters type of a game, to be exact. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 3 of our video, and this one will be looking at, supposedly we finally have a release date for Dark Souls Remastered. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of our My 2 Cent video, and for this one we're going to be talking about Dark Souls Remaster. Now, earlier this year it was announced that a remake of the first Dark Souls games, the game was going to be coming out to not only the PS4 and Xbox One and PC, but also to the Nintendo Switch. Unfortunately, the Switch version hit a snag as that game was delayed all the way into the summer, while the PS4, Xbox One, and PC version were later released. Some people were kind of disappointed in this, though. There wasn't really any clear given reason why it was delayed. Some people may have pointed to technical issues. Some people point out that they didn't have like servers or all that stuff up and running. But whatever the case, it was delayed, and a lot of people, and for Switch owners, were kind of left either having to wait for when they've finally released the Switch version, or go and buy the PS4, Xbox One, or PC version. Well, apparently we now have an official launch date for the Switch version, providing that there isn't any other delays and Bandai Namco does anything to delay the game, which I think would pretty much upset a lot of people. So, according to, let me get the article, according to Engadget, again, link will be in the description, it has been announced that the Dark Souls Remaster will arrive on the Nintendo Switch on October 19th, along with the amiibo with it, the Solow of Anastona, Astora, pardon me if I'm not saying the name correctly. It says, Dark Souls fans have been engagingly been waiting the release of the game on the Nintendo Switch, and now we finally have a date for you. The remaster port and its matching amiibo will arrive on October 19th, though. It's not exactly the summer 2018 that we promised. Presumably, it took longer than expected to adapt the intense difficulty game to the Switch controls. The PS4, PC, and Xbox remaster version all launch on schedule on May 25th. It's been reported that the Switch version of the game will run at 1080p resolution when docked, and docked in TV mode at 720p when playing in handheld version, which not bad, which is good. Frame rate is at 30 FPS, which I mean, again, not bad as long as it's a stable 30 FPS, but obviously there are those who would prefer if it was at a 60 FPS. And it will support 1 to 6 players in online mode. DLC will be included in the remaster. So we finally officially have a date of October 19th. So great that we have an official date, but I wonder if that ship has already sailed. I'm curious to see that. I'm sure that there are those who are waiting for the Switch version, may have either given up on it and decided to go get it on PS4, Xbox One, or PC. Although there are probably some that probably decided to wait it out and wait for the official Switch version. I do kind of wonder if this could impact the sales of the Switch version because of those who had to wait longer than the other people did. On the other hand, though, one could argue about, say, Skyrim and Doom 2016, which all of these were late ports that came over to the Nintendo Switch, and obviously those games did well. I think Skyrim sold very well, and I think despite some back and forth about Doom 2016, some saying that it sold, I think, 800,000 copies like in the first couple of days or something like that, it appears that that may have done well enough for, of course, Bethesda to announce Doom Eternal for the Nintendo Switch as well. So the delay certainly is disappointing, though, but it may not hurt the game at all. I'm not saying there's a chance a delay could hurt the game. There is a possibility it could, but it may not. So there is that chance as well. Hopefully it doesn't hurt the game, and when it does come out, hopefully it does well enough that Bandai Namco could bring Dark Souls 2, a remaster of the Dark Souls 2 to the Nintendo Switch. And if it's possible, though, try to see if they could bring Dark Souls 3 to the Nintendo Switch as well. So, yes, overall, yes, it is a little disappointing that Switch owners had to wait until October 19th for Dark Souls Remastered, but it's minus any other delays popping up. We have an official release date. I'm looking forward to trying out on the Nintendo Switch. We'll have to wait and see if this delay has an impact on the sales numbers or not for the Switch version of Dark Souls Remaster. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to part 4 of our video, and this one's going to be talking about THQ Nordic buying up some new IPs, particularly 2 games to be exact. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 4 of our My 2 Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at THQ Nordic picking up the rights of TimeSplitter and Second Sight, if I'm saying the name correctly. Apologize if I'm not. For those who are not familiar with those series, though, TimeSplitter and Second Sight were developed by a development team known as Free Radical Designs. They were made up of former members who worked on the N64 classic GoldenEye, which many view as that game kind of revolutionized first-person shooters at the same time by taking it in sort of like a 3D realm to all those like mission-based stuff. You like complete this mission, complete that mission, and so forth. So it was definitely at the time considered to be a revolutionary game. And Free Radical developed the TimeSplitter series and the Second Sight. TimeSplitters was basically a first-person shooter, with the first one being available only on the PlayStation 2, as far as I remember, with the second and third one eventually making their way not only on the PS2, but also made their way on the Nintendo GameCube, and the original Xbox. And I believe PC as well, along with Second Sight, which was sort of a third person, sort of like had like psychiatric power or like psychic power to lift and move objects. It was very similar. It had some similarities to another game that was released close to that. I think it was called Psyops, that was released by Midway, I think back in 2004 as well. Free Radical Design also were the ones that developed the game Haze for the PS3, which unfortunately did not perform very well, and that sort of was the end of that studio, along with them remerging for Crytek as Dam Busters that developed Homefront: The Revolution, which was not loved by a whole lot of people. I thought there were some interesting ideas. It just was poorly executed as well. As far as the TimeSplitter and Second Sight license, though, after Free Radical went under, I think Crytek picked up the rights for it, but never really did anything with the license for the time being. There were reports of a TimeSplitter 4, but never saw the light of day, and they also claimed that it was never in development. Well, it looks like now THQ Nordic has recently picked up the rights for those games, and they're saying that we could be seeing another entry or remake possibly soon for it. In an article, in an article on Screen Rant, again, link will be in the description, it says, quote, game publisher THQ Nordic has acquired the rights of the popular early 2000 video game trilogy TimeSplitter. In an announcement today via press release, Nordic stated that their subsidiary Koch Media, KOCH, will be publishing future games in the series via their label Deep Silver. After over a decade since the third installation, TimeSplitter Future Perfect, this news will come to a shock and delight to die-hard fans of the time-traveling first-person shooter. They point out that when THQ announced the acquire of TimeSplitter, they said, quote, "We are hungrily excited to have acquired TimeSplitter. The original game gave fans of massive combat offer and provided a pure and genuinely fun arcade shooter experience. We have many fans of TimeSplitter series among our own staff. who are passionate about creating a product that will thrill today's gaming audience." Though, in addition to that, they also announced that they also picked up Second Sight as well. Also made by Free Radical, the third-person stealth action hybrid was a departure for the developer. Its console release saw favorable reviews, but demands for a sequel were never as vocal as the TimeSplitter fanbase. It will be interesting to see if an increased popularity in unique story-driven action-adventure game will inspire Deep Silver to make a second side. With both games and so forth. So basically, they announced that they're picking up the rights for both of these games. And honestly, I'm all in for this. I'm hoping that we get another TimeSplitter series, or at the very least, a remake of the first three and a remake of Second Sight as well. I may not be like the hugest FPS shooter fans, but TimeSplitter was a fun series for me. I remember playing TimeSplitters 2 and 3 on the Nintendo GameCube and enjoyed that, especially with the story, which was both silly and interesting as well. I never dug into Second Sight as much, and if they ever remake that game, I certainly will give this game a go. So hopefully we'll see an announcement about, or see actual gameplay of another of a TimeSplitter and a Second Sight series soon. And my hope is that these games can also make their way onto the Nintendo Switch as well. We won't know for certain if it will, but my fingers are crossed on that one that it does come to the Nintendo Switch. But overall, it looks like TimeSplitter is going to be making a comeback, and Second Sight will also be making a comeback as well. The only question is when we'll actually see whether we'll see a remake of those games or a brand new entry. So we'll have to wait and see. But overall, if you're a fan of those games, you should probably be then you're probably pleased to hear that THQ Nordic has picked up the rights to those games. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to part 5. I normally don't do 5 my 2 cents parts for this one, but I'm doing this one because of a recent rumor that has come out of the possibility that a new Super Mario Brothers game could be coming to the Switch, and it could be a remake of the Wii U version. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with the 5th and final part of our My 2 Cent video. And for this one, we're going to be talking about a rumor that of the possibility of what we could be getting a new Super Mario Brothers game coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, I've been a Mario fan for a long time. From the days of playing the original Mario, the Super Mario Brothers on the NES, with Super Mario Bros. 3 being my favorite video game of all time, with Super Mario World being extremely close, to the recent Mario's outing with Super Mario Odyssey on the Nintendo Switch. So for me, Mario kind of holds a special place in my heart. As far as the new Super Mario Bros. Series though, while they may not be as on the same level as, say, Super Mario Bros. 3 or Super Mario World are, though they are still fun and enjoyable games nevertheless. With Wii and the Wii U version probably being the best one, as that one, as you progress further and further into the game, the difficulty spike kind of picks up a bit, and it adds a bit of a challenge to it. It's very similar to the approach you see in games like the Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze, to the Rayman Origin and Rayman Legends level, although I think New Super Mario Brothers came first before those games did. Well, apparently it seems as though that another new Super Mario Brothers games may be coming to the Nintendo Switch, and it's possible this could be a remake of the one that was ported to the one that was brought to the Wii U which was originally a launch title for the Nintendo Wii U. In an article on comicbook.com, I'll have a link in the description, it's been reported that initial rumblings about a possible port of the game dates back early this year, before E3 2018. Sources connected to Nintendo Europe, who have provided accurate information in the past on games like Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, began to suggest that a port of New Super Mario Bros. U was in the works. Throughout the years, we've been following up following up on these rumors with other tipsters linked with Nintendo who have corroborated these suggestions. Multiple tips we have received from this article indicate that the supposed reissue of New Super Mario Bros. U will include New Super Luigi U add-on. The paid DLC campaign was originally released in 2013 and enjoyed a standalone physical release around the world too. Nintendo later started packaging the two together, with the title joined their Nintendo Select range. Some sources suggest that the rumored Switch release will include new content of some description. Although exact details on this appear to be tightly under wrap, it might be worth noting that when the last re-release on the game on Wii U, Nintendo did add over 200 new bonus videos which showed skilled staff players play through various levels in the game. We also haven't interpreted a potential name floating for the New Super Mario Bros. U port, referred to as New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. It's unclear whether or not this could be the internal placeholder, but the recurring nature of this title among multiple Nintendo sources suggested it could be more final. The name would pay homage to Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, an updated port of Super Mario Bros. For the Game Boy Color. Remember playing that as well. I remember playing that on the Game Boy Color a long time ago. As far as this one goes, I'm kind of mixed on this, on a certain way. While I am certainly not against the idea of another 2D Mario game being released, especially on the Nintendo Switch, I'm not 100% sure about re-releasing New Super Mario Bros. U. Don't get me wrong, I like the game, I enjoyed it though, but I can't help but feel it would be better if Nintendo would have just created, say, like, a whole new Super Mario Bros. Game, like New Super Mario Bros. Switch, and develop something like that, rather than just reissuing New Super Mario Bros. U. On the other hand, though, it is worth pointing out, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was re-released on the Switch, Pokken Tournament was released on the Switch, Bayonetta 1 and 2 were released on the Switch, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze was released on the Switch, and Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker were released on the Switch, and all of them seem to have performed very well, and obviously it seems as though Nintendo is going to continue to bring more Wii U ports over to the Nintendo Switch. I know some people don't like that idea, and that I can understand the argument to a certain degree. But at the same time, though, there are people who may have missed out on it on the Wii U, and this is an opportunity to play catch-up for those who may have missed out on it when it originally was released in the Wii U. Although there are some people who have asked for games like the Wonderful 101 and Tokyo Mirage Session to come to the Nintendo Switch, which honestly I would be okay if they bring those titles over as well. As far as the new content goes, assuming this rumor is true, if I had to take a guess where I won't call it a guess though. If I had decided what the new content would be, I would like to see them, if that's the case though, would be like maybe perhaps bring the levels from New Super Mario Bros. DS, New Super Mario Bros. 2, and Wii onto here as well to make it sort of like an Ultimate Edition or a Complete Edition to be exact. Another possibility they could do is, of course, ranging from challenge levels to maybe levels from maybe sort of like a 2D version of the levels from Super Mario Odyssey. For those who are not familiar, when Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker came out, though, they replaced some of the levels and made some exclusive levels for the Switch version, which were basically miniature versions of levels from Super Mario Odyssey, like New Donk City had a level in Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. I mean, can you imagine going through New Donk City in a new Super Mario Bros. Style, like in a 2D setting? I certainly would be very interested to see something like that. So maybe they'll do something like that, or they'll do maybe like a challenge. Who knows? So either way, my overall opinion on this is that although I would prefer them to develop a new Super Mario Brothers game, maybe like a new Super Mario Brothers Switch, I would be down with this. I certainly would be. I'm a sucker for 2D Mario games. I like those kind of games, so I definitely would be open to buying this. I'm not sure if it will have the same kind of the way Mario Odyssey did last year, but overall, We'll have to wait and see if this rumor turns out to be true, but I certainly would be open to seeing new Super Mario Bros. U on the Nintendo Switch. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about QuakeCon 2018? Were there certain things that you like? Were there certain things that you don't like? Are you excited for Doom Eternal and Rage 2? Are those two FPS shooters you are looking forward to seeing? Are you not looking forward to seeing them? Which version are you looking forward to getting? Are you going to be looking forward to maybe picking up the Switch version of Doom Eternal? And do you think it's possible we could see a Switch version of Rage 2? What about Diablo 3 announced for the Nintendo Switch? Is it worth a double dip? Is the fact that you could play as Ganondorf in the game worth a pickup for it though? Or are you happy with, say, what you got it on the PC, PS4, or Xbox One to be exact? What about the official release date of Dark Soul Remastered though? Have you been waiting to pick up the Switch version? Or do you think it's too little too late? Or did you give up on it and decide to pick it up on the PS4, Xbox One, or PC instead? What about THQ Nordic picking up the rights of TimeSplitter and Second Sight? Do you think this is a good thing? Do you want to see that series make a comeback in any way? Are you okay with the developers of Dam Busters working on it that were made up of former members of Free Radical Design? Or do you feel that after what happened with Homefront Revolution, you'd rather have someone else handle the TimeSplitter and Second Sight franchise? And what about the rumors about the possibility of new Super Mario Bros. U coming to the Nintendo Switch? Are you open to that idea? Do you think they should develop maybe just an all-new Super Mario Bros. Game for the Nintendo Switch? That's what I like to refer to it as a new Super Mario Bros. Switch. Are you okay with this Wii U port coming to the Nintendo Switch, or are you getting sick and tired of seeing Wii U ports make their way onto the Nintendo Switch? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think, and I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal Me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!